All right, folks, Friday Night Blitz Media Days on the scene right here on WFXR as we take a look at some of our local teams getting ready for the 2023 season. Joining me right now to shine the spotlight on the Blacksburg Bruins and their head coach in their second year, Coach Zack Leonard. And Coach Leonard, first of all, welcome here to our Friday Night Blitz Media Days.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Obviously, in your second year, talk about how things are different entering the first year versus entering the second year.
Well, we made a lot of positive changes last year. Obviously, record-wise, it was a very tough year. I joke and I say, you know, I really only had 10 bad days as head coach last year. Just the wrong days to have bad days. But, you know, we're continuing to progress. We are fixed a lot of cultural issues that we had last year. Going into the offseason, we got some guys who are really getting after it, really changing themselves that will impact our program. So just more of the same, taking what we have and trying to progress them day by day.
Now last year missed the playoffs for the third straight season, went 0-10. Program's on a 27-game losing streak. In fact, this senior class has yet to win a football game, which is hard to imagine. So how do you handle it, and how do you talk to your players about it, or do you bring it up? How do you handle the fact that this team hasn't won a game? In fact, the last win was October 25th, 2019, a 29-23 win at Hidden Valley.
Yeah, so we don't necessarily talk about that specifically, but we talk about changing our habits. I'm a big believer in habits. So when we start doing the right thing, Blacksburg has always had enough talent to be successful, but you have to take what you have and help it reach its potential. Right? And you can only do that by building really good habits. So we have gotten our middle school involved. I think the biggest asset we have at Blacksburg High School is the middle school. There are some people who could throw a baseball that far. That's how close it is. So we have gotten those guys into the weight room, into our workouts, integrated them into our program, and we want to keep them there for the next few years and just develop. And, you know, when we do those things, when you take care of your in-house business, you're going to be fine. And I think we've done a much better job of that this year.
And being the fact this was your first head coaching job, now that you're in your second season, is there anything you're looking to do differently or anything you need to tweak on yourself, or you feel like you're where you need to be as a head coach?
Oh, I think there's always tweaks. I think I try to be a learner as I go, so every step of the way we're going to be reflective, think about things that we can improve, but no drastic changes. You know, get more of the right people on the bus, and get them in the right seats. And I think we're going into a much better situation with that. You know, building your first staff can be really, really tough. And we've added a few guys who I think are really going to be difference makers this year. I loved my coaching staff last year, but I think we've just made it even better this year.
And then looking at your schedule, it's not an easy one. You have 8 of your 10 opponents make the playoffs last year. Of course, you start off the season, usually every year it's Blacksburg and Giles.
Yes, sir.
And then obviously you have Lower Bottot and Floyd County and Rockbridge County, and of course the River Ridge District. You got Cave-Spring, you're at Cave-Spring, at Christiansburg, hosting Pulaski, Hidden Valley, at PH, and then Salem. So that's a gauntlet right there.
Yeah. Yeah, River Ridge District is always going to be a really tough schedule, but we really don't want it any other way. You know, we have goals for where we want our program. We want to get it back on top, and you have to go through certain teams to do that. You got to play tough schedules to put. I believe in competition, so when you play good teams, you slowly rise to that occasion, right? I think we're going to see a lot of improvement throughout our schedule, but it's going to be because we got better, not necessarily other teams got worse. You know, and that's the key.
You know, and you know, bringing it back up again, you know, what would it mean to just finally break through and win one? I mean, because obviously it's been a minute, like I said before, but what would it mean to just break through and be on the winning side of things?
I think the main thing is it will show the kids, it'll help reinforce the habits we've been creating. So, hey, we've worked this hard, we've been doing the things the right way, now we've got some success to go along with it, and then it's easier to buy in, right? So you get that first win, and you buy in and you're like, hey, this did work. We are doing the right things, and it just builds on itself.
How much fun you're having finally being a head football coach?
I love it. Dream come true. Something I've wanted to do my entire life, and I'm in the right place, and I'm excited to just keep working.
Now, Coach, of course, Friday night's always big, but what does Friday nights in the fall mean to you, sir?
It's just a chance to see where we're coming. Right, I'm one of those guys who I love the process. So Monday through Friday, love it. Saturday morning, I can't wait to get up and get to work. You know, I'm one of those type of guys. But Friday, you get to see how effective you were during the week and the changes and the impact you've made on your players. So it's just very meaningful.
Well, Coach Leonard, first of all, I feel like this year you're going to break through. I'm just throwing it out there. I just feel like, I don't see a goose egg in that win column. You're going to put some numbers in that win column.
I appreciate that. I think so too.
Good deal. Well, Coach Zack Leonard of the Blacksburg Bruins, of course, Blacksburg, they open up the season August 25th at Giles, a usual rivalry game. It's been that way for years. Even when I was a little pup, it was always Blacksburg Giles. So that's going to be a fun one down there. So again, Coach Leonard, good luck this season.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Good deal. We got you right here. Of course, Coach Leonard and the Blacksburg Bruins rocking and rolling just like we are here with Friday Night Blitz Media Days right here on WFXR.
So how do you feel going into your final year?
I'm just really excited because I do feel like as a team we have definitely come together this year more so. It's good that we have leaders, I think so this year, more so than other years.
Last year was rough. I mean, I'll be blunt, like what wasn't happening last year?
It kind of just felt like we were not all on the same page. We just felt like we weren't firing on all cylinders, obviously. It just didn't feel right.
That being said, I mean, you learn a lot from the losses. What did you guys feel like you learned from that experience last year?
We definitely learned what it does take to win because we see the teams we play every week and we see how they can win. I feel like we definitely have realized that it's time to finally put everything together and go get a win.
You guys bring back experience. You guys bring back the motivation from last year. What do you like about this team going into fall camp and eventually the season?
Like I already said, chemistry, I feel like we definitely are already closer than past years that I've been there, and I'm just really excited about that.
The off season, I feel like after a season like that, you kind of don't waste any time trying to get into the weight room or play 7-7s or whatever. Tell me about your off season. What did you work on as a quarterback? How much were you like pouring over film? How much of it was just like being in the weight room as much as you can?
So I actually used to be a receiver, so this is my first year. So I've been definitely getting into like film and just all like the mechanics and stuff. So I'm just trying to, for my final year, help us win.
So this is a position change for you?
Yeah.
So what's that like?
It's definitely more difficult than I expected because I started football sophomore year, so no matter what, it's already harder for me, but it's okay.
So when you were like first, I mean, how did that conversation come about? Like
so,
was Coach like, hey, can you do this?
So yeah, it was like one of those like off season, like just lifting, and we warmed up before and we were throwing the football around. I was like, hey coach, it didn't seem like we had a quarterback for this next year. So I was like, hey coach, should I just go throw the ball? He's like, yeah, definitely. So that's kind of how that started.
And at first, were you like, this is easy because I've caught the ball, I can just throw it?
Yeah, definitely. It was a lot. I thought it would be easier than than it is now, but it's.
How much of it is you realizing, oh, there's a lot of mental stuff, a lot of knowledge that
Definitely.
you have to take in?
Yeah, it's become a lot more challenging than I once originally thought.
Yeah, sounds like you're not shying away from the challenge. Obviously.
Definitely not.
So
I'm excited.
how much are you looking? How much are you looking forward to that?
Quite a bit because I just feel like this is a chance where I can push myself and become better overall.
That being said, you being a receiver, that must count for something, right?
Definitely.
How much do you think that helps you going into this role?
Knowing what my receivers are going to want because I once was one, so knowing where to throw the ball or how they want it is very helpful.
You in football, how did that come about?
So I played basketball freshman year, and then the coach was recruiting people to play, and he just came up to me. I was like, sure, might as well.
And you were like, you don't hate it?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I've always watched football growing up, so.
Was it something about the game that like kind of kept you in it? I mean, obviously you're still here, so.
Yeah, the people, like my friends and coaches, and they're good people.
Well, you talked about working on team chemistry and team bonding. Like, what are you guys like? Give me a sense of like the camaraderie and the chemistry.
It's very lighthearted. Like we're very outgoing, and we feel as one when we're together, and it's very fun.
To be able to start fresh, a new page, what's that going to be like when you first take the field that first night, that first Friday?
I think it's going to be very beneficial for us because we can see like how far we've come over this off season and all that.
That being said, how intense will these 3 or 4 weeks before the season starts? How intense is that going to be?
Hopefully, very intense because we need to get ready, and it's going to be a good season if we put our minds to it.
You'd be satisfied with your season if what happens?
Obviously playoffs, but as long as we get a win, and then I think we can build momentum off of that and get some more wins. But
all right, sounds good. Anything else you want to add? So, okay, last season not the greatest. I get it. What did you learn about yourself and the team from last year that you guys can use this year?
I really think we just learned like how to push through and keep going no matter what, no matter how bad things are getting. We just got to stick together and just keep pushing through.
I'm sure last year is also pretty motivating for you guys going to this year. Tell me about your off season. What's that been like? The work you've been putting in.
Yeah, we've been putting in a lot of work during the off season. We have a lot of people. We're all really motivated to try to turn this thing around.
On paper, I know the record doesn't say it's great, but like anything that you guys were doing well last year that you guys can build off of in terms of, I don't know, anything from like team chemistry or maybe getting better in certain aspects?
Yeah, I think we did really like come together real well as a team and like just get to know each other like in how we play. I think that helped us a lot.
Well, that being said, what do you like about the team right now going into fall camp and eventually this season?
I think we have a lot of team chemistry together. We've all played together for a while now, so we kind of know each other, and I think that'll really help us going into camp.
Coach Leonard, obviously, you know, that was his first year too, so just trying to like kind of figure him out. What about his coaching style that you liked from last year, now going into this year? I feel like you guys were all kind of learning together.
Yeah, he's always bringing energy no matter what. Like if we're all down, he's always going to be there to bring us up, and he's just always like motivating us to keep going.
Scott, about you as a football player, where did that love for football come from?
Yeah, I've always played since I was little. I played rec football. My dad was a coach, and ever since then, I just fell in love with the game.
What was it about the game that kind of kept you going, and at what point were you kind of like, okay, like time to take the sport really seriously? This isn't flag football, you know?
I think it's like the people and just all the aspects of the game. You have to work together as a team to be successful. You can't just have one person doing their own thing.
Going into your final year, I mean, what's that like? You know, obviously your senior year kind of brings a lot of emotions. Everything's like your last, first, whatever. How are you handling all that?
I mean, it's hard, you know. It's played football all my life, and this probably might be the last time I play football, high school football at least. So it's hard, but I mean, everything's got to come to an end at some point.
What's motivating you right now as a player?
I get just the time, like we got a little time to do as much as I can. Try to go out a bang, I guess.
Take me into what it's like to walk onto the field. You know, just trying to put people like me in kind of your shoes about like what the emotions are like, what you're thinking.
It's great. It's just your adrenaline running, feel all like jittery, and then once that first play happens, it just all like calms down. It's an amazing feeling.
What goals do you have going into your final year? Obviously, you're trying to do better than last year.
Yeah, do better than last year. Just improve as a team, I think, is a big one. Yeah. Just make some progress.
So what would satisfy you as, you know, at the end of the year, what would have to happen for you to feel good about what you guys were able to do?
I think that get a few wins under our belt, end this losing streak, and so we know that, you know, we kind of did it. We broke it at least.
Maybe beat Christiansburg.
Yeah, beat Christiansburg. That'd be nice.
I mean, what would that be like? I mean, you guys have had a rivalry. It's always every year, no matter what the records were. It's always seems like it's always a good game. I mean, what would that mean to you?
It would mean everything. That would be awesome to beat Christiansburg.
Anything else? Good.